Right, as soon as I saw this amazing Predator sculpt from the amazingly talented guys at Wicked, I knew that I was going to have to challenge myself to get it printed in 100% FDM and print it big.
You think you could have found something bigger?
Well, I was going to try and print it full size, but I had to settle for quarter scale so I could get it done this year. The head STL comes in 4 parts, but I just wouldn't been able to print it in FDM without cutting it up into about 1 million pieces, as you can see here. So how did I get all this to look like this? 100% FDM, quarter scale, not so ugly mother hubbard of a bust of the OG Predator. And if you want to see every step of how I do this, then simply
stick around.
Right, let's calm down a little bit after the intro. I'm totally winging this, so yeah, no script. It's a bright, sunny Friday night in England, and I really want to get to a beer garden, so let's rattle through this. Got to start off by thanking the amazing dudes at Wicked. Not only are they master craftsmen, but they are like the nicest people on the planet. So nice, in fact, that when I said I was going to do a video on this particular model, they actually gifted it me for free, which was super kind of them. I am in no way sponsored by them at all. I'm a member of their Patreon through my own money. And I recommend everybody else should join up too. Link in the description. And that's not an affiliate link or anything. I don't get a kickback from it. I'm a member, and I think everybody should be because their stuff's brilliant. Especially, I love their movie stuff. The recent releases of the T800 and Ash from the Evil Dead are absolutely spectacular. So I'm sure you're wondering actually what I'm showing on screen. I should actually probably start commenting on that. I just went about separating everything I could to get good orientations, to get flat surfaces that I could put on the build plate, and to make sure that supports could be accessible and easy to remove. But I know what the FDM purists are going to be saying. They're going to be looking at this mess and thinking,
what the hell are you?
And that's 100% valid, to be fair, because I would make life a lot easier on myself if I did a lot of this in resin. But I don't like resin. I've only got a small Anycubic Mono 4K. I'm not very good at using it, to be honest, and I just love FDM because I just love watching it. So I'm just going to try and do as much as I possibly can in FDM, and that's why I print everything really big as well. This thing is going to be nearly 50 centimeters tall, not just the head, obviously the chest and the stand and everything that goes with it, but yeah, it's going to be pretty huge. So as you've hopefully seen on screen, a lot of really complicated cuts were made, and as you can see, it's just to make everything sort of printable. I've tried my best to get seams where they would be as hidden as possible. That's why I chose around but you'll see in a second why I chose around the eyes in the way that I did. But mainly it's around the dreadlocks. I tried printing them as full pieces, but the supports would just go through the middle of the clump of red dreadlocks and would just be terrible to try and get rid of. And it was very difficult, let's just say. So I thought I'd put the time in to try to get it, get a few bits off it. But as soon as I started, I just kept going more and more and doing more and more cuts. So I do go into a bit more detail about how to make those cuts. Anyway, getting onto the settings. I'm using the Bambu A1, so if you are aware of it, it's a 256 by 256, so you get a bit of an idea of the scale by seeing them on the plates there and the relative size. Using the Bambu Cool Plate Super Tack is amazing. The PLA matte PLA, which seems to just hide print lines, print layers, the layer lines, what the fucking step things, really, really well. 0.16 high quality, with a few tweaks that obviously you can see on screen. Not really done anything with the speed and things like that. I've only been doing this about 5 months, so I don't really know loads about it. Hybrid supports, these are excellent. You get tree supports for most parts, but then you get like normal supports mixed in for the flat, like holding some flat areas, and they've been brilliant, really, really good. And what makes them dead easy to take off, because I've got a 0.16, you times it by about 2. So I'd put 0.3 for the Z distance to the top and the bottom of the supports, and they just literally just drop off almost, but they obviously they do their job. So and then just added a brim around everything to try and stop any warping. But pretty much, yeah, if you want to go back and go slowly, then you can pick out every single setting, but a lot of it's just the built-in stuff really. And as you can see, this particular bit was 1 day, 4 hours. I think the most complex part was getting on for 2-day print, but it was worth it for the extra quality for the higher settings that I use. And as you can see, everything's printed with a flat bottom, so should get like really good orientation. And as you can see, this one was a go before I did all those cuts, and this is actually the reason why I did so many cuts. I did a basic one here, and I tried, as you can see with the seam lines around the jaw, how I tried to sort of do the cut to hide around the contours of the jaw, and that was just one simple cut. What I ended up to this particular bit, you'll see later, was actually ended up being 1, 2, 3, about 4 or 5 cuts. So, but this is where I tried to do it in just 2. But I cut the front dreadlocks off to see if I could just print them as one, but didn't print very well. As you can see, the supports were just so like absolutely dug in that they were like,
son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
I could not have said it better myself, but I was prepared to live with it, mainly out of time and thinking that, you know, I may be able to get more of the supports out, some of the damage that I'd made trying to get them out. But you know, it was kind of working. You know, my cuts weren't perfect. I think with a bit of sanding, I think because it's obviously shrunk and warped and something like that, but with a bit of work, I think that could have worked. But this one, I fucked up a bit, basically. The bit in my right hand, I had to repair it, you know, in Bambu because it had non-manifold edges. But you can see that, you know, it's good quality, you know, look at that. Looks pretty good. But when it repaired the non-manifold edges, obviously it messed up the the shapes. You know, nothing married up. So I thought, well, if I'm going to print it again, well, at first I thought
Bullshit.
But then I thought, if I'm going to reprint it again, I might as well do some better cuts. So these are the cuts that you saw earlier in the video. You can see that they marry up pretty nice. Again, trying to get the cuts into the contours where people aren't really going to see it down the edge of the jaw and the folds and whatnot. Took fucking ages. I'm not going to lie to you. You do need I was using sort of just basic things in Blender, just drawing sort of just polygons to sort of mask around stuff, and then just doing Boolean cuts, which, you know, I'm not going to train anybody up on how to do that, but it's quite basic, but it's really fucking fiddly, and it took a long fucking time. And then I ran out of filament. I had to wait for a couple of days to order some more from Bambu. Why can't you like do next day delivery, for God's sake? Why have you got to wait 3 days? Anyway, that's the reason for it changing colour.
It changed colours, like the chameleon.
But anyway, we're starting to make a bit of progress now. These prints came out amazingly well. The Bambu A1 is kind of mind-blowing for somebody who's new to FDM, and I just thought FDM was just, you know, step central, lay line central, but oh man, especially at this sort of size, it's sweet as fuck, basically. Sorry, I keep saying the F words. It's sweet as hell. No, hell probably get censored as well. It's very sweet. It's handily demonstrated here. Okay, you know, some of the finer details, those ring things, you got a bit of string in there, but I think it's nothing I can't sort of fix with a bit of aftercare, a bit of processing and whatnot. Oh, hey, you know what? We've just gone over the 8-minute mark. And if you're still here and enjoying it or taking anything out of this mad babbling sort of random shit that I'm spewing, then remember to like, subscribe and comment to help my channel grow. And don't just take my word for it. Here's some encouragement from Arnie.
Come on, do it now!
He's a big fan, Arnie. He's been on my channel a couple of times in a couple of videos. So yeah, thanks for the thumbs up there, dude. True story. Anyway, as you can see, everything's going together pretty well. You know, there's going to be a bit of gap filling, but that comes with the territory, really. That's all stuck together now. Oh, no, it isn't. A lot of it's stuck together now. I'm not even going to re-record that. Anyway, so had a little bit of a print failure on the next big batch of dreadlock cuts. But I'm going to show you in a few seconds' time, actually, how I fixed those. Because there's always going to be the odd failure, isn't it? But look at the quality there. It's looking really nice. The rings could be a little bit nicer. Not quite sure how to fix that. But yeah, there's one print failure. And then the other print failure is that little bit there. But I figured I'm just going to do that as one little plug. I'm going to show you how I cut that in Blender in a second, but it's a bit of a quick flash through. So if you can't keep up,
You fall behind and you're on your own.
Arnie's really earning his paycheck today. Anyway, back in Blender, what I'm going to do, what I did physically was cut the actual model at this intersection here. where I'm going to cut the 3D model by just putting a plane in there and just morphing it around so it's only touching that bit and not touching the head part, and then extrude it down to cover the whole bit that I want to take out and reprint just that small section. So what that means, I don't have to print that whole massive section. I've just got to print that tiny bit there. As I've sped this up a little bit so that you can rattle through it a bit, but it just means keeping up the bloody commentary is a bit tough. But as you can see, I'm just going to print this tiny little nub that pretty much fell off, and then you can see how I'm sort of keying it by it's just using booleans and just geometric shapes. As for the other bit, I checked back on the print file, and you can see it's a big gap there, but I hadn't realised that I forgot to fix manifold edges. So a simple error, just goes to show that you've got to double check everything. But it happens to the best of us, so I just laughed it off and thought to myself,
You son of a bitch.
So here we are. I did film all the gluing together and things like that, but that's not actually that interesting, to be honest, and we'll probably be here for about 2 hours. But yeah, that's like 3/4 of it done. Probably about, I don't know, 15, 20 separate pieces. No, probably not that much, probably more like 10 to 15, I think. And a bit of a gap along there, but as you can see, I tried to get the gap to be running along the ridge and into the ridges, so that when it got it filled. Oh, there's the bit that I cut off that you saw in Blender that I was gonna actually cut off physically, and I cut off in 3D. And oh yeah, I forgot I filmed this bit to put on that bit that you saw getting sorted out in Blender. Regards to Blender, I know it can seem really complicated at times, but if you the stuff that I do is like quite basic, like sort of the processes. It's just quite fiddly. So if you learn those bits, you can do quite a lot. You've got so much more control. Anyway, this bit, I was really surprised how well this printed off. It looked really complicated, but after looking at it, I've got it upside down at the minute. That's on the cue, turns it the right way up. I thought that's never going to print, but I thought, sod it, I'm going to give it a go. I couldn't be bothered to cut that one up anymore, and it printed perfectly. And just another bit. I don't know why I filmed this bit, really. It's just, more of the same. Oh, wait, no, I remember why. I wanted to just show... I mean, how smooth is that? Looks absolutely awesome. Those layer lines are so... That's almost resin quality layer lines. I know overall FDM is always going to have limitations as opposed to resin, but in terms of layer lines and stuff, I mean, look at it there. You can see the issues with the round bits, that sort of like stringy sort of bottoms to them. But look at that. That's not bad, is it? I don't think, especially that size. And FDM. If you haven't got a resin printer, I'm gonna put resin on this to sort of fill gaps and to sort of go over everything to make things smooth. That's my choice. You don't have to do that. So it's the print is 100% FDM, but I personally use resin for the finishing, because I think painting it on and just putting a light on it to make it solid instantly is just so handy. So although there is resin involved, you don't have to have a resin printer to print like Ace sort of figurines. You just probably got to have a bit of patience cutting stuff up in Blender. It's obviously going to be finishing with this sort of stuff. This is good stuff. I mean, I like that knife in putty. It's just a bit claggy. It sticks to the utensils that you used a bit too much, and you got a lot of work time with it, to be honest. So it's almost like you probably want to leave it in the cup for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes or something. But when you do put it on a little bit wet, like I have done here, it does sort of settle and ease down a little bit, which can be good in certain situations. And you've got plenty of time to wipe it off, and you've got plenty of time to let it set a little bit to then go back with some kind of modeling tools to push it in and get rid of all the stringy sort of mess. So it looks a mess here. I'm just chucking it on there, to be honest. But I do go round it later on and just sort of like make it look a little bit more, fit in with the textures and everything of the model itself. And I know that doesn't look all that appealing, but I'm thinking I can get away with that. If I was doing it for myself, I'd spend more time doing it. But I'm on a bit of a deadline trying to get everything done for a YouTube video. And I know that, if I'm going to put a little bit of resin over it, I'm going to smooth stuff off, it's going to get sort of hidden in the paint job anyway. It's all noise, it's all white noise to add to the chatter and stuff. And these little bits aren't going to get really picked out. So here I am with the resin. Got a little bit of talcum powder in there. Actually, have I at this point? No, I don't think I have actually. I think this is just like loose resin, pure resin. Yeah, liquid resin. So it's a little bit harder to fill some of the gaps, but what I'm trying to do is that it's quite, this is like going to try and smooth off the bumps of the model itself. There's a lot of bumps in it. I just want to try and make it feel a little bit more organic and a little bit smoother. Plus, obviously, you know, it's going to fill in the layer lines and anywhere where I've sanded a little bit. Especially, I tried to sand the layer lines off the eyes. Yeah, I haven't got the picture of the eyes before, or footage of the eyes before I put resin on them. But as you can see here, you know, it's just a thin layer into all those recesses. It's really going to sort of do the job, make them look really nice and smooth, ready for you know, that obviously I like. Oh God, what was that? I can't bother to re-record that. Just ready for painting the eyes. Let's just leave it at that and move on. Hey, we're on 15.5 minutes. There's probably not loads of people still around. Anyway, I got too tempted to just absolutely slap the whole thing with resin. I know what you're probably thinking.
Bad idea.
But for me, even though it's filled in some of the bits in the middle, at the top of the forehead, the middle of the forehead, I quite like that because I felt it needed a little bit of that softening and made it look a little bit more organic. You see the eyes are nice and the teeth that have just gone off screen, sadly, are really nice and smooth now. So in person, I'm thinking it looks great, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there thinking,
You one ugly motherfucker.
but as I always say, trust in the process. I know this is going to look great with a decent paint job. Well, hopefully a decent paint job. It's going to come in a later video. I've got the whole chest part, the base part, the weapons, the plasma cannon to print off. So yeah, this is where I got to. So it's a case of just slapping on a bit of filler primer. Doesn't do a great deal of filling. This one I don't like that much actually. I won't say which one it is, but in my next video I'll show the one that I do like. And there's some skulls actually. The skulls came out really nice. That's all going to be part of another video. So yeah. Other than that, I just put on like a sort of base coat to give it a little bit of character for filming. So here you go. This is the sort of thing that I'm getting towards. This is obviously not the finished. This is just the base coat. This is far from the finished painted piece. But yeah, if you liked what you've seen so far and put up with me rambling, it's been a bit of one. It's been a long week basically, and I'm bloody knackered. I just want to get this commentary done. So thank you so much for staying and sticking by. And if you have, then please like, subscribe, and comment because we really want this channel to grow. I know, yeah, I keep forgetting to bloody mention this, but I've got a buy me a coffee link down below as well. So that's always there for you to peruse if you're so inclined. So anyway, I've talked for long enough. I never know how to end conversations. So anyway, I'll just say I'll catch you next time.